Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Today is the official Light the Torch for Mindful Her. And I am joined today with some of the amazing authors who contributed to this very powerful book. There are 11 women total, and I am joined, there's 5 here today, as you can see. And this book has been quite a journey, I know, for myself personally. And so I want to introduce each of the co-authors of this book and do a little bit of a deeper dive into who they are, what they do, what prompted them to write this book, a little bit about their chapter. But we're not going to give too much away because the idea of these Light the Torches is one, for you to celebrate with us, two, for you to buy the book and support your authors and share the message of the book. So the Mindful Her is women sharing about their mental, emotional journeys in life. It's not just a book about business. It's not just a book about personal. It's kind of a combination of both. And each contributing author has wrote a very different chapter. There's no one that is the same, but what I can tell you is the same is they're all powerful. So please help us by celebrating, sharing, posting, tagging, and getting involved with this book. So before we dive in, I want to have all of you who are watching this, are going to watch the replay, get comfy, get your favorite cup of coffee, hot tea, and your favorite blanket, because we're going to dive in. So I'm going to start with Sonia. Sonia, can you share a little bit about you, what you do, and a little piece of your chapter from Mindful Her?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Sonia Rodriguez. I'm a psychotherapist and life transition coach, and I'm located in New Jersey, and I'm so happy to be part of this wonderful anthology. My chapter was called From Struggle to Strength, Embracing the Journey with Compassion and Self-Care. And as a therapist, I talk a lot about the importance of self-care. I talked about the power of connection, which is super important, ensuring that we're connecting with ourselves as well as with others. I focused on how we turn our struggles into opportunities for learning and growth, which is very important to think about why we're experiencing some of the challenges that we're experiencing. And I really dived into talking a lot about how do we get through them. And so I hope you enjoy the chapter.
Thank you, Sonia. All right, let's go to Alicia Polino.
Hey guys, my name is Alicia Polino. I'm from Pennsylvania. I am an intuitive health and wellness coach for the past 5 years. Being part of Mindful Her was a very personal part of this for me because the chapter I wrote was Doing from Being, Embracing the Journey to My True Purpose. And it was just really me being raw and open and opening up about my journey of just how I went from, survival mode and disconnected from my purpose and reconnecting into who I am and what my true purpose is and how to help others learn how to get there themselves. Breaking free and stepping boldly into the unknown, because a lot of people, they just feel stuck in their lives, and that's where I was. And so I just want others to know that there's hope for them too.
Thank you. Let's go to Ariel Balfour.
Hey guys, my name is Ariel Balfour. I'm in West Kelowna, BC, Canada. This book was therapy in itself for me. Not only reading and experiencing everybody's story, I've never felt closer to complete strangers in my life, and everybody's story resonated in a different way. My chapter was named Silent Rage Can Be Deafening. This was a very personal story that I shared about some struggles that happened during my birthing process that led to facial paralysis and a whole bunch of other things that happened along the way, and the lessons that kind of brought forth for me that I now help my clients get through their own troubles, and showing them how when these things come up, they're not what happens to you, but what happens for you, and the resiliency and the lessons that come from it, and the beauty that can come from what feels like a traumatic moment, and how we are in control of those decisions and how we transmute all of that. And so I really saw that throughout the entire book and everybody's chapters. And I have to say, this is probably one of the most powerful anthologies to date that I've been a part of. And I am just so honored to be alongside these amazing women. And I can't wait for everybody to get this book in their hands.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
Let's go to Valerie Lundgren.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Val Lundgren, and I am in River Falls, Wisconsin. So I was really interested in trying to write. That's what brought me to this. My exploration of even writing, because I never thought I was good enough to be a writer. But what was great was that my business is called Mindful Wellness. And so I love how it really completed and connected with this book. My chapter is From Womb to Wellness, and my journey started in the womb. And that was my exploration from my anxiety and where it all began. And so my chapter is all about healing and doing the really deep healing work that we have to do when it comes to finding the root cause. And then also working on healing generational trauma and maybe even past life trauma. So this is the work that I do with my clients and showing them that there's a lot more. There's layers to the onion. And if we just work together, we can find those layers, but there's always a rainbow on the other side. So there's possibilities of healing. So that is all about my chapter. And I'm just excited. I love all the stories. Like Ariel said, it's just such a beautiful anthology put together because it really shows the power of mental health and how we can really rise. So I think it's really beautiful stories.
Thank you, Val. All right. Last but definitely not least, we have Stephanie Myers.
Hello, ladies. Yes, this has been a journey for all of us, and our stories are so fantastic. They're unique, but yet I found them so inspiring that for me they were the same because it's all about not giving up, not giving in, and seeing yourself through. And for me, that means so much. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I coach women on how to deal with, how to manage the gender bias they face, not only in the workplace, but in their businesses. And it has been a personal journey for me because I've worked both in female dominated or gender neutral environments, but mostly male dominated environments. And I have found that what hurt me the most, what I flipped between being super anxious to super depressed, was the bias that I got from women, other women. It was devastating. Um, I guess for me, it's not that you get used to the bias, you fight back against it, but I expected it more from a male perspective. So when the darts, that's what I call them, the darts came from the women, it was just so confusing, so compounding the pressure that I felt. And that's what I share in my chapter called Today We Live, because every moment is so precious, and we need to take every moment and live it to our fullest, which is what I do now. Because after my ordeal dealing with this bias situation, I came back stronger, more ready to fight, more willing to share my story and share my experiences of how I overcame those particular set of circumstances. It was great for me to write this and just get it all out. And I really encourage everyone, not only in the chapter, but everyone I meet practically, is just to live life to the fullest. Even when you get slowed down, that's okay. You will find the reason. Give yourself the reason and accept to get yourself back up and keep living. Today we live.
Amen. Thank you for sharing. I think with what you just said, Stephanie, about women, like the women that you would look to who would support, comfort, provide perspective are the very women who did the opposite. I shared that experience along with you. And I've actually interviewed several women over the month of March about winning. She wins. Nice girls finish first. And so when you were sharing that, I felt that tug, because in the women's empowerment space, in the women entrepreneurship space, women are not mindful of how they talk to one another, how they treat one another, how they support one another. And it's very sad. So I hope that this book will give a little more insight and perspective that, number one, you never know what the other person is battling or walking through. That's first and foremost. They can show up and look amazing on screen and smile all day, but you don't know what that personal battle is. So to that, to the person who picks this book up and reads it, just remember how these women have written such raw chapters, transparent chapters, and really shown up and shown out, which is what I hope happens with this book, is that it will open up more doorways, that more women will be open to being transparent and say, I'm struggling too. Who can I go to? What resources are out there for me? I think it's important. So thank you very much for sharing that, because that is something that goes unspoken a lot. So here's my next question to all of you ladies, and I'm not going to go in any specific order. And before I go to the next question, I do want to say a huge thank you to She Rises Studios team for helping put this together, for working with each of the authors. I also want to say a huge shout out to all of the authors in the book. Some of them are not with us today on the screen, but we have Sheena Smith, Suzanne Plumley, Val is here. Pauline Gruette could not be with us today. Heather Hansen, Tanya. We also are missing Melissa Garcia. And those women wrote incredible pieces to this book too. So I just wanted to say thank you. So to each of you ladies, I'm curious to hear what your goal is for the reader who focuses and reads your particular chapter. So I'm going to go back to Stephanie for your answer, and then we'll go to Val.
I want not only women, but women and men to understand that, one, mental health is not something that we need to hide in the closet, tuck away under the couch, and just be quiet about it. Don't tell anybody. It's okay to heal yourself, to get healing for yourself, because we're all messed up in some kind of way. And if we can get healing for ourselves, that makes us a better person. So I want people to pick up on, the stigma that was, oh, well, that's just for crazy people. Let that go. You are not crazy. You just need to be healed. And that's okay. Go get yourself healed so that you can move forward and live life comfortably.
Thank you for sharing. What about you, Val?
Wow, a lot of what Stephanie said. That's always been my mission for day one. Ever since I've spoken about my anxiety, I've been very transparent, and I just want to reduce that stigma. That just because you struggle with mental health does not mean you are a bad person or there's something wrong with you. And that's what I hope that we can achieve with this book, especially since we're coming upon Mental Health Awareness Month soon. And just giving people the understanding that they're not alone. They're not alone on this journey of healing. And there are successful people out there who have struggled with their mental health, but they persevere, right? And they just keep going, and they find the help that they need to get through that and find a beautiful support system. So find that support system, reach out, talk to someone, because you're not alone.
Thank you. What do you say, Ariel?
Well, it occurred to me, first of all, I never said what I did for work. And it's kind of pertinent to why I shared this chapter that I did. And so like I am an emotional wellness mentor, and I specialize in neuroscience and neurosomatic practices, as well as internal family systems. And for me, the way that I help my clients is this whole entire chapter is based around a phrase that I say to them all the time. Emotions repressed become expressed. No matter if you try to avoid them, they are going to come out in a way that you are not ready for, in a way that is going to sideswipe you, because there is no just ignoring something as it happens, pushing it down, putting on the brave face. I don't believe in faking it till you make it, because that's just ignoring the actual processing that is trying to happen in the body. And I was an example of that, as you'll find out in my chapter, because I had a lot of internal rage from past generational trauma, current life trauma. Like it was just, I kept putting on that brave face, smile through, until the world literally took my smile away. And it was a lesson in what I do physically, that emotions that we do not process will come out eventually. And that can come out in many different ways for many different people. It's always different for everybody. But it is a really valid life lesson to realize that you can't ignore these things. And the more you ignore them, the more likely you're going to have health issues, relationship issues, all of those things. But here's the what I want people to take away from that. You are your biggest flex. You are your best health ever. Right? Like at the end of the day, we can hire all the professionals, we can read all the books, but at the end of the day, no one is coming to save you but you. And there's a power in that I want people to understand, that you are unique and beautiful in the way you are, which means that you are unique and beautiful in the way that you heal. And there is no one way for one person. And it is time for everybody to stop trying to hide their true selves, their authentic voices, and start speaking their truths and start experiencing their emotions and reconnecting to their body.
Amen.
Yeah.
I don't have another word except amen.
Yeah.
Thank you. If that wasn't a mic drop, I don't know what was. Alicia, what is your hope for the readers?
Yeah, so I mean, I think most of us on here have like a general consensus of like the same thing, but the transformation, right? The realizing that you're not alone, because I feel so many women today just feel like we have to do it all, right? And we have to take it all in, and like we got to keep up with the Joneses and do the next thing, and just keep going, and not actually talk about what is actually killing us and like keeping us stuck. Because don't say that you're overwhelmed, because then you can't handle everything, and it's not, you know what I mean, just giving yourself room to breathe. So I want the readers to know that they're not alone, and help them start to identify patterns that are keeping them stuck, right? Because for me, the longest time is I was oblivious to it, right? Like I wasn't really looking at it. I was stuffing things in a box saying, I'm fine. But realizing that the box, then the lid no longer fit on that box. And the more you try to like stuff things into an overflowing box, it comes out, as Ariel said, in different ways, shapes and forms, and it's not good for you. So how to really learn how to acknowledge those patterns, learn how to start putting different things in place to avoid the burnout and truly step into your alignment, and then embrace that healing journey. And for me, being a people pleaser and all the things came with perfection. And if I wasn't perfect, then, oh God, then I wasn't doing it right. You know what I mean? And it was that all or nothing mentality, and trying to help my clients and people that are reading this book just to understand, as we slow down, we learn to listen to ourselves and align what truly matters to us, is that we allow that healing to happen. And sometimes we do take a step backwards, but it's because we're processing, not because we're failing. It's like, oh, you're finally dealing with this, to have that feeling of an empowerment to like, okay, now I'm going to shift this mindset. I'm no longer going to stay on that hamster wheel. I'm going to trust myself more to literally go out and embrace that unknown world that's been so scary to me before, you know, and just really living lives that they love waking up to.
You can see, yeah, I all of this is really incredible. You can see why these women wrote in this book too, for those watching. I always, whenever I think of you, Alicia, and talk to you, I think I told you this before. There was a photo that you had shared, and you know what photo I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
And my first thought was, you go girl. And this photo was of you showing the transformation that you made and how much weight you were carrying. And you used the display by putting a certain amount of pumpkins in the shopping cart, saying, this is what I was, but this is what I am. And I felt like my first thought was, you go girl, because you look amazing. And two, my thought was, how brave for you to share that. Because for someone like me who has been fighting weight since diagnosis and being pumped with chemo and steroids, like I went from 130 to I don't want to declare it on the screen, but it's hard, right? And so that mindfulness, I felt beat up. Like I was constantly looking in the mirror saying, I don't want to look at her. I don't like how she looks. I would refer to myself as a third person for the longest. And seeing that post really kind of put things into perspective, not of how I look, but what internally is happening, that health piece that you ladies are sharing. Like we're killing ourselves trying to keep up this image when really we need to be mindful and pay attention to what's happening internally more so than anything. So I don't know why, but I felt like I needed to share that with you because you have motivated me to take baby steps every single day and really focus on that health aspect. And so thank you for that. And thank you for sharing. So last but not least to this question, Sonia, what is your goal for the reader?
Oh, so many great nuggets of information and tools for the reader. I would really echo with so many of you women have said, but I think two things I really hope that the reader takes is that we all go through challenges, and it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with us or that we have mental health issues. We all struggle to get through life. And so really looking at things from the perspective of what do we need to do for our emotional wellness, which is a lot of what all of you have already shared. And the thing that I think is so powerful is connection and realizing that you're not alone. And some of you have already talked about that. And even you, Hannah, just talking about how looking at Alicia's picture really just encouraged you and just said, you know what, she gets it. There's a little piece of what she's sharing that really sits well with me. And this is how I'm connecting to her. And so I really think find your connections. And we live in a world now where if you don't feel comfortable connecting in person, you can connect virtually. There are you can have a chat text therapy session. You can join a virtual group. You can connect with an online platform. So just find a way to connect so that you don't feel like you're alone in your journey. And hopefully that can help you move through your healing process a little bit faster and in a less lonely way.
Thank you. I think one thing, this is just my personal opinion. I think when we talk about healing, some of the things that we as women have to heal from will take time. And I think society tells us, hurry, right? We got to hurry. But what they don't realize is that perseverance and resilience and strength are developed over time. So there is no quick fix, even if there is a mental health issue or an emotional health issue or even a physical health issue. All of those things take time. And it's just like what I say when I'm talking about PR, it's the long game. But it's how you choose to play the long game, who you're putting as your players, who's your coach, who's your ref, who's a part of that. So my goal for this book personally is that anyone who picks it up and truly dives in and reads it is that they will find their coach, their mentor, their support system, someone that they can truly connect to, and that they don't look at mental health, emotional, or physical health as a negative, but they look at it as, okay, there is hope. I can heal. I can recover. I can be stronger. I hope they look at it as an affirmation and an example of women who have shared in the book and have done those things. However, how many in this room right now are still on the healing journey? I know I am. For sure. I feel like I'm always becoming. And, you know, one of you said sometimes we feel like we take a step backward, right? Or sometimes it feels like we take 10 and then we're playing that catch up. Or when you start to share transparency, I came clean with battling mental health a year and a half ago. Half of the people that connected with me helped and supported me, and the other half questioned me and my capabilities of running She Rises Studios. When I shared my diagnosis and became more transparent, it was a 50-50. Some people said I shouldn't run a company or any companies. Other people cheered me on. So I think it's just us, like you said, we're our own flex. Ariel, you said it. We do need that help and that support, but we are our number one hero, Shiro, our own flex, and we have to make the choice to being mindful in all that we do. So that's my hope, is that whoever picks up the book, man or woman, I really hope my husband reads this one, because I think it would help him understand some of the mental and emotional health issues, right? And that's what this is about, is connecting. Like you said, Sonia, connecting. So we have a panel discussion lined up with these beautiful women, and hopefully the other authors of this book will join us. But here's what you need to know for today. So we are going for national, international bestseller. We definitely cannot do it alone. Even though there are 11 of us, we need 11,000 people to buy this book and buy 2 copies and 3 copies. It's an ebook. It's across Amazon. I want you to connect with each one of these ladies on the screen today and really, really become mindful of her. So before we leave today and close this out, how are you celebrating, Stephanie?
You know, I celebrated yesterday. I had told my whole neighborhood, and we threw like a mini block party, just a mini block party. It was wonderful. They congratulated me. Now, I admit, I have not actually told my church group yet. I think I'm waiting for Sunday to kind of, because it was such a rush this past Sunday. So I'm like, I want them to digest it, you know what I mean, fully, and not be so rushed and hear me out. So I'm going to break it to them on Sunday. We're having a little dinner after church. So I think that will be a great way to segue into that. And it's kind of big, like a testimony too. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, congratulations, and we're celebrating with you. And thank you.
Thank you.
Sonia, how are you celebrating this book release?
I am going to dinner with my family and practicing the self-care I talked about in my chapter.
Woohoo! All right. What about you, Alicia?
Well, exactly. My chapter is called From Doing to Being. So my day has started with some restorative yoga and celebrating that, of just taking that time to make sure I put myself in a good place, working with my clients, celebrating, and then spending some time with my nieces and nephews here before our call. So that's why hair's all up in a bun, because we're out and just enjoying life, right? That's what it's about, making the most of it. So that's what I'm doing. Probably take the dog for a walk here after a bit.
Aren't fur babies the best?
They are.
What about you, Ariel? How are you going to celebrate today?
My celebration is twofold, actually. So tomorrow, my husband and I have the day off together. We're going to go spend some time together, go do some self-care, go to a little spa, have some massages, things like that, while the kids are at daycare, you know. And then the second one is, I just, as this release is coming, I just signed a contract to be one of the sponsors for a huge women's entrepreneurship live event. And so I will be putting one of these books in every single VIP package, which there is a total of 60 of them.
Very
So
good.
I have committed to our book reaching the hands of 60 women that are out on a mission to change the world themselves. And I think that this book, I resonated so deeply with everybody here that I was like, this has to be out in the world. And so I committed to that contract literally today. So it'll be out there in the world, guys. I'm really pumped for that.
Well, congratulations. What about you, Val? How will you be celebrating?
I hadn't really thought about that actually, so I don't really have a plan to celebrate. But I'll eat dinner with my family tonight and we'll talk about the release. Today I spent a lot of time building a new online program for my clients. So I think that's one of my big goals, is to be able to reach more people and help more people. So I'm excited to do that. And yeah, just celebrating, just taking time to take it all in.
Well, thank you, ladies. I personally will be celebrating solo. I scheduled alone time with me and the man upstairs. I just am just taking some time to breathe. It's
Absolutely.
the mindfulness part. So husband is away, kids are away, and I will just be alone. And I'm very excited about that. So congratulations, ladies. For those of you watching, please grab this ebook. It is very affordable. In fact, it's so affordable, you can actually grab 10 and send it to 10 of your favorite people. We will be back, I think it's next week, for our panel discussion. And I encourage you to connect with each one of the authors of this book on a much deeper level. And thank you, ladies, for being a part of this book, for sharing, for being so bold and brave. And it's been an amazing journey. And congratulations to all of you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take care,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.